The album closes up with Tyler kind of talking with his therapist and concluding that overall he's a good kid, but he's kind of misled. And I believe that to be true. But if I'm to use the music on this thing as a guide, I'm not really worried about him eventually finding his way. Right now I'm feeling a strong 7, a very strong 7 to a light 8 on this album. With more consistency, I'm really excited to see where Tyler the Creator and Odd Future are going in this Odd Future. And that's fine. Tyler makes music for himself. He even says that on the first track of this album, but I guess that means he doesn't make music for me. So if you don't like this album, then I guess he didn't make it for you. All I know is that from front to back, I did not enjoy Goblin. There are some great tracks I pull out of it, but, you know, kind of a strong 4 to a light 5 on this album. Overall, I liked Wolf. Honestly, I thought it was a decent album. Though the highlights on this album are high, it's kind of spotty too. There are tracks on here that meander or just really kind of feel like filler, and Tyler is clearly not interested, at least at this point anyway, in improving his technical abilities as a rapper, because a lot of his flows on some of these tracks can be kind of awkward, despite the fact that they may be heartfelt and very emotive. The instrumentals are a definite improvement. The feature list is pretty impressive, and getting people like Erykah Badu and even Letitia Sater on your album is... I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this thing. If you've given it a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Hate it? There are moments on this LP that make for some of the most refined instrumentals that Tyler has ever been on, and then conversely, just because of the bad mixing and the bad production, there are some instrumentals here that are some of the worst that have ever been on a Tyler the Creator album. So while I don't really care for this LP, I do have to give it to Tyler for being one of the few artists out there bold enough to simultaneously disappoint and impress so consistently. I'm feeling a strong 3 to a light 4 on this album. Still though, despite those shortcomings, I think this album is Tyler's best effort to date. It's a very tight 47 minutes. It's his best produced album, his best written and conceived album, his best performed and rapped album. And I loved a great deal of the tracks on this thing. I'm feeling a decent to strong 8 on this record. It mostly just feels like he's slapping some tracks together in order to quickly cash in on the holiday spirit. I'm feeling a strong 3 to a light 4 on this thing. Overall, I think IGOR is a fantastic album and is easily one of the best breakup albums of the decade, which is no small feat considering that we're literally right toward the end of this decade. I'm feeling a decent to a strong 9 on this thing.